and welcome to the Northland. Today's video, we're going to be doing some maintenance, winterization of the boat. I'm going to try and keep my rambling to a minimum. I know the video goes a little bit long, but in the end, in case I forget to mention it again, if there's something you think I'm forgetting, please comment below and let me know. All right, now for engine maintenance, or for winterization, we're going to take out, I don't know if you can, I'm not sure, is that showing this screw here and this screw here, and make sure you have something to catch all the fluid with. And then after it's all empty, we'll hook up this little cool fitting here to the bottom one, and we'll pump it full until it starts coming out the top. That way we get all the air out and we know it's full. Obviously we'll put the motor down flat when we start doing that, but for now we're going to take these out and let her drain. Well, as I said, once you take out this top screw, it starts draining out real good. And there should be a little orange gasket on both of those, and they are still in the holes, so that's fine. But when you take yours out, just make sure that that those gaskets are either on those screws or still in the hole. And when you put the screws back in, since it's only a standard screwdriver, I suggest you don't really crank them in there hard, because then they're going to be a pain in the butt to get out. So this fluid doesn't look too bad. I mean, you can see this nice bright color still. But the main purpose, at least for me, to do this is to make sure that I get any water that's in there, that I want to get that out, because, stupid bee. Since I live here in the wonderful state of Minnesota, it gets quite cold. And if there's water in this lower unit and it freezes, there's a chance it could crack the lower unit, and then you're looking at big bucks. It's just a whole lot cheaper just to buy a little bit of fluid. It doesn't cost that much, and it doesn't take a half an hour to do. So my advice is, if you live in a colder climate, that you do this every fall. I used to do it in the fall and in the spring, put fresh stuff in the spring, but since my boat isn't in the water and it's not in the snow, there should be no reason why it gets water in it over the winter. And so I kind of quit doing that in the spring. I just make sure that it's full. And if there's no sign of leakage, good chance it's still going to be full. So, all right, we're almost done dripping, so I'm going to put the screws back in, and then I'll show you filling it up. All right, so as I said, we're just going to pump this until it starts to come out. There we go. Now we're going to put the top screw in, and we'll lift the motor up, put the bottom screw in, and be good to go. One minor thing I failed to mention, that bottom plug, or at least on mine anyway, is magnetic. So look it over before you put it back in. If there's any contaminants on there, metal shavings, anything like that, try and get off as much as you can before you put it back in, so that stuff still is not floating around in there causing more wear. So now we'll repeat that process for the other motor, the little itty bitty 8-horse that we just did the water pump on. Now we are going to, where is it? So I already took out the spark plugs. We'll inspect those in a minute, but we're going to now put some fogging oil in these cylinders to try and ward off any rust that should want to take place between now and 6 months from now when we get the boat back out. So really simple process. This is just fogging oil that I picked up at the auto parts store, and we'll just give each cylinder a little bit of a squirt. Alright, and now we'll crank it over a few times to try and spread that around. I'll also pull out the kill switch, that way it's not trying to fire spark plugs. And now while we're at it, let's look at these. These are not too bad. They need to be cleaned up a little bit, which is what I got the wire brush for. So I'll wire brush them, scrub them down a little bit, double check the gap before I put them back in. And Yeah, so they don't look too bad. You know, now would be a good time to do a tune-up or change plugs or whatever you need to do if that is something that you haven't done in a while. And then what we'll do is I'll squirt a little bit more fog. In fact, I'll just do it now. I squirt a little bit more in here. That way, after I put the plugs in, I'll crank it over again, but not connect. I won't connect the plug wires yet because I don't want them to fire. I just want the pressure there to help spread that oil around. Yeah, come on, focus. There we go. So I just scrubbed this off with the wire brush, and it looks pretty good. I think I just replaced these last year, and I actually did not use the boat a whole lot this year, unfortunately. So these look pretty good to me. Now what I'll do, and I don't know that it's a big deal, it's just something I guess I'm anal about. I will put them back in the same place as they were. Like I know this one came from the top, and then the next one in the middle, and the lower, and so on and so forth. So we'll also wipe any oil residue off from the outside. Alright, now we will get the plugs back in and make sure you don't over tighten them because they will break. Sorry about this camera again. Okay, we don't have the wires connected to the plugs. Just crank it over a couple of times. It doesn't have to be anything major. And then we'll reinstall the plugs to make sure that we don't have any corrosion on these plugs or the wires over the course of the winter. Alright, that one should be done with the exception of filling the oil tank. And something else I'll mention now, at least with a boat like this, I recommend filling up your fuel tank. The idea behind that is to try and keep moisture out of the tank from sweating, you know, warm and cold and all that good stuff, like, you know, like a glass of water sweats. You don't want water in there, and so that's why I fill the oil tank as well. Now, if you have a removable gas tank, then, you know, go ahead, disconnect it, and, you know, dump the gas or whatever. And obviously, too, I will put Stable in my gas tank. I prefer Stable over Seafoam. I think it works, in my opinion anyway, it works a little bit better. You know, the object obviously is just to keep the gas in good shape between now and April or May, whenever we can get the boat out again. So now we're doing the little one. And remember I said the gaskets, that one's still in there, but this one came off. I had to fish it out of the oil pan there, but some people replace those every year, and there's certainly no harm in doing that. In fact, I think I did that for a while and then realized that I probably didn't really need to do it. I bought a package of them off of Amazon, and I don't remember how many are in there, but there's like 10, 15, 20 maybe in there or something. But I haven't even opened the package yet, and I've had it for a couple of years. So unless there's evidence that one of them is leaking or you have water in the gear case, I don't replace mine unless it's obvious that they need to be replaced. So, all right, now it's just like with the bigger motor. We're going to finish letting this drip. We'll fill it from the bottom until it comes out the top. Replace the top screw, then unscrew the adapter from there. Put the bottom screw in, and you'll notice too that both of these screws are the same. This one does not have a magnetic one. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way, but these are the original screws, so I just stay with what it is. You could probably get a magnetic one if you're really worried about it. But then after that, here's what I used to flush the motors out with the water when you just saw it running when we did the water pump. And just like the other motor, we'll remove spark plugs, wires, plugs, clean them up, inspect them, gap them if needed, and we'll change the oil. That's the fill. Here's the oil drain plug right there. And the oil dipstick is over here. And also, this is a good time also to replace a fuel filter if you need it. I believe, again, I think I replaced these last year and I did not use the boat much, so I am not going to do that this time. They're not too hard to replace, though there's just a couple of... Where's my focus? Come on, focus, focus. Anyway, they're just these little springy hose clamps, right? Take them apart, put the new fuel filter in the same way, and so on. The big one's a little bit different, but like I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go into that this time around. If that's something you really want to see, let me know, and I will go ahead and make a video on that in the future. Alright, so just like again with the other one, these are the plugs out of the 4-stroke. They look pretty good, almost like new. Both of them look pretty much identical. We checked the gap, which is good. We'll go and put these back in. The only trick to this, wish Yamaha could have figured out something a little bit better, but there is not much room to get in here. You can, what I do is I'll put the, sorry, again, I'm trying to do everything one-handed, so please excuse my camera work here. So anyway, I'll put the plug socket on, and then I'll get it started by hand. I'll try and get it in as far as I can by hand, and then just using the ratchet on the end of there, just snug it up. And then trying to get this off can be a bit of a pain. You may need a needle nose pliers or something to try and pull it off, but top ones, again, much easier. And again, so I put the fogging oil in there. I'll just crank it over a couple of times. Make sure we remove the kill switch. Okay, that should be good. And we'll just put the plug wires back on. What I need is like 3 or 4 hands, I think. That would make things a lot easier. Why couldn't we have been born with, well, of course then we'd be freaks, wouldn't we? 4 hands. Alright, so that's on. Now we're going to change the oil. So, take this off first. Suppose we're gonna drop that. Okay, so I suppose we're gonna end up making a mess because it's, like I said, pretty windy. And I have a feeling that's just gonna want to blow everywhere. So, all right, so this is a 12 millimeter. I can't do it one hand. All right, there we go. We're draining. Well, it looks pretty good. So we're going to replace this with probably 10W30. You can use either 1030 or 1040. I like to go with the lighter stuff if possible, since I tend to use this. It seems to be more when it's cold. Well, I don't know, maybe that's not true, but anyway, I have 1030 on hand, so that's what I'm going to use. All right, so this should take almost a full quart. Yeah, see, I get caught up. I can't do the camera and work at the same time. So let's see what we got here. I had a... There's my stick. Oh, doesn't even look like there's any on there yet. So the quart I'm using isn't quite full, and I suspect that it's going to take the whole bottle, but we'll see here. Where's my bottle? There it is. Alright, I'm not going to quite dump the whole thing in yet because I don't want to overfill it, but I will lower it and check it again. Okay, we're on the stick. Let me see if I can focus, hocus pocus. Oh, there we go. Looks like we still need to add a little bit more. So I don't know if you can see it. It's actually I had it tilted the wrong way. Anyway, it's full, And it took almost that whole quart, which, like I said, was just a little bit shy of a full quart. All right, so we're all buttoned up, ready for winter. If there's, I mean, there really isn't much to these things. I definitely recommend, though, if you own a boat, or even putting it in like your rear differential or whatever, front differential, using one of these pumps makes things a lot easier out of a gallon container than trying to use a bottle like that, which is a pain in the butt. So that's really it. Like I said, we washed the boat, waxed the boat, I vacuumed, everything's done on the interior. We got our dryer sheets in there. I also remove anything that is worth a lot of money, like my trolling motor and things like that, just in case a mouse does get in there and start chewing on stuff. He's not going to, they're not going to ruin anything that's costly. The only thing you got to really worry about now is like the wires and stuff for the, you know, the ignition and bilge pump, stuff like that. But that's it. So if there's anything that you think I'm forgetting, please comment below. Let me know. I'm never going to claim to be an expert or that I know everything. This is how I've been doing it for 23 years now on this boat. Original owner. So, and I'm not usually have any problems during the summer, with the exception of these water pumps. So, all right, hit that like and subscribe, even if you did not like the video. I'd really appreciate it. Tap the bell at the bottom after you hit subscribe. That way you'll be notified anytime I upload a new video. And just like with the last video, make sure you share it with somebody, especially if they're a boat owner, or if you think they might be able to learn something from this or whatever. You know, they might appreciate it, as will I. So, all right, stay safe. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.